going?
The Royal Armouries Museum in Leeds.
Leeds.
Oh, sorry, Mum. This is Leeds.
It's not just about scaffolding and rubbish, is it, Leeds? It's about other things too, right? What do you like about Leeds?
It's big.
It's big.
Yeah.
Right, Jacob, you want a boat throw?
There's boats.
Yep. Steps.
Yeah.
And boats.
One.
No! Run out of steps. Where are we at?
This is the Royal Armouries. Leeds.
Are we going in?
Yes. Come on.
You ready?
Come on, let's go.
What we've got here is the Hall of Steel.
Yes. Let's go in.
Cannons
Wow.
on the walls, dude. Look.
Oh yeah. Firing hole. Gate.
Cannons. Hall of Steel. Can you read that? Nope.
Firing the hole, boys.
Battle trophies. What are you looking at?
Look in the mirror. You'll get it.
And you can see it in the mirror too.
Dad, I've got an idea. Let's look at it.
You should look at War Tournament, don't you?
I think we should look at up there first and then come back down and do this.
So start at the top.
Yes.
Okay, one way. Jacob, so we're going to go to number 4. We'll start at number 4, which is hunting and self-defense. So let's have a look.
You know that man on there?
Yeah.
I actually thought he was a real person like God. You know that, right?
So this is a tiger hunt.
On the back of an elephant.
Even the elephant's joining in.
I know. Oh, this is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like a whole different building in here. I don't want to come 4 weeks like that.
It kind of adds to the
What's that one?
atmosphere.
The old atmosphere.
So you've got to bear in mind, even horses had to be protected.
Yep, I know.
So
With horse armour. Didn't know.
yeah,
And even humans.
and this is old armour,
Yep.
protecting the most
Chain armour.
vulnerable places of the body.
There's chain armour there, isn't there?
Chain link.
Chain link armour. Like Minecraft. Isn't there? Dad, no entry.
Oh, what's bad. What about the sniper?
Bolt action sniper. No way. Hunting rifle.
So this is police.
Yep.
What police would have used. Yeah, that spring. Is that like a giant spring? Like a giant spring, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Imagine being hit with a giant spring. Just keep bouncing backwards and forwards, wouldn't it?
It's just the expanding.
The whack that keeps on
truncheon.
giving. You know what an amnesty is?
What?
Do you know what an amnesty is?
I've heard of it.
Right. So an amnesty is where the police say any weapons you've got, you can hand it to the police station, and you won't get into trouble. And these are this is an example of what got handed into the police station.
Butcher's knife.
Look at that baseball back there, with nails in it.
Oh yeah. Your dad.
This is an example of what got handed in.
Dad, yeah. Your dad, look at that.
I know.
Dad, what's that?
Another sword. Crazy, innit?
Yeah.
Wait, what are they shooting at, Jacob?
The rhino on the other side.
Oh yeah.
It actually looks
Just sat there grazing and...
It actually looks quite real and people don't know.
Alright, so this is hunting and we need to walk this way.
Fortnite to my head when I see this gun. It brings back the Fortnite double-barrel shotgun.
That's what it is.
What is it actually?
It's a double-barrel shotgun.
Or your double-barreled rifle.
Yeah. So it's just some sort of living room for somebody at the time who sort of had their weapons on display and their catches on display as like trophies.
I think that one might have been a ball card thingy. Maybe. That one must have been a deer by the antlers inside.
Morning!
Thank you for coming to the Royal Armouries. My name's David, I'm part of the live interpretation team, and my colleague here today, his name is Richard. Now this morning we are going to bring you along for one of our rehearsal sessions, essentially. So what we call these shows are Mastering of Arms. You see, me and Richard, we've been working on a brand new so that when we get our indoor shows back up and running, we can be going straight into it, swords flashing, smiles dashing, and all that sort of stuff. So what we're going to do today is we're going to run through basically the inspiration for the choreography, look at some of the historical context behind the moves that we're using, and then at the end, if things are going well and no one's dead, we're going to try and run through the choreography that we've been working on, and maybe at about a half pace. If things go really well, we might speed things up and give you a bit of a taster as to what's to come in the future. So, how do we start putting a fight together? Well, typically here at the Royal Armouries, we'll start with a fight manuscript written by some sort of fight master throughout history. In particular, this fight master we're looking at today is a fight master known as Fiore di Libre, who's an Italian fight master, if you haven't guessed from the name, and he wrote a wonderful book called The Flower of Battle, which is a lovely book about how to kill people. Now, in this manuscript, it's incredibly helpful. Most manuscripts of the medieval period are incredibly cryptic and difficult to decipher, because not only are they written in older versions of languages, they're often written in dead languages, such as Tauhoffer's fight book, which is written in Swabian, and no one knows what Swabian is anymore. So this book is far easier and far more accessible, because not only has it been translated quite helpfully for us who don't speak Italian, but it's also the writer himself, Fiore di Libre, which is a far more open man about his techniques. Now, he wrote this manuscript in 1420, and each page of this manuscript holds typically what we might refer to as a play or a series of moves that you might come across in a particular fighting situation. And there are several pictures to help you see the step-by-step how to demonstrate the move, and there's also a lot of text and description there to assist us in working out what we're meant to be doing. Now, one of the first plays that we started looking at was a play known as the Peasant Strike. We'll show you that now. So, Peasant Strike assumes that one of us is a very inexperienced fighter. In this case, it's going to be Richard. Now, Richard being the peasant, he's not going to really know many techniques. He's going to do some obvious things. And so, if I take up the guard that is suggested for defending against such a strike, it looks a bit like this. So, Richard, if I'm standing with my sword pointed towards the ground, what's the most obvious target?
I'm going to raise my sword up high. I'm going to try and clobber David on the head and use my special move known as Richard Smash.
Push. Please my head open, fight is over. So, what can I do to stop that from happening? Well, from this position, if it comes down from my head, I step to the side, raising the sword. Now, if I'm not where the sword is, I'm safe. The sword coming up like this is there for a bit of insurance to keep myself safe. But having it at that slanted angle also redirects his blade away from me. Then from here, all I have to do is quickly step back, whip it round the back of the head, neck, back. Richard's a goner. So that is the first move, essentially, within this play, the Peasant Strike. However, in this manuscript, it offers both combatants ways of getting out of it. So it will offer a counter quite often, in which case, Richard, you should have a counter to this.
I do have a counter. Being a peasant, I can't really read, so I didn't read the book. But some lovely, pretty pictures. So I looked at the pictures, and there's a very nice counter that I think I can do to David's move. So instead of just allowing myself to become decapitated, I step to one side and bring my sword up towards David's arm. As he comes around to cut my neck, he uses his own momentum against him and brings his arm right into the direct path of my sword, cutting his hand off, ending the fight.
Nasty. However, if you continue to look at the pretty pictures, you'll realise that not only is there a counter in this particular case, but there's also what we refer to as a remedy, which is essentially a counter to a counter.
Oh no, I didn't get that far.
You did not get that far. And it should look a little bit like this. There we go. So, to slow it down, it's very, very straightforward. He comes down for my head, I take the sloping parry. Now at this point, I'm still thinking, well, all I've got to do is come and cut his neck. So I am going to start that cut round his neck. But now I see Richard's moving. He's raising that sword up. So I change tack halfway through, bring the sword down to cover his blade, and step in and cut his head clean off. Which I think is a lovely way to finish the fight. Right. Now, as you may have noticed, fights didn't last very long. They lasted 1, 2, 3 moves at most, and either both of you are very badly injured, or you break away and you try and start something else, try a different technique. And so if we in the Royal Armouries came out and showed you real fighting every day, you might be a little bit disappointed in a 2-move fight. So what we intend to do is apply a bit of stage combat to it. So we'll start off with real techniques, we'll use this as basis for our choreography, and then we'll extend it, make it a little bit more entertaining. So what we're going to do now is just show you one of our stage combat sections, as it were, inspired by this particular play. Slice. There we go. So essentially all we did was just elongated it using extra cuts, a few thrusts. Bizarrely, actually, that kick is in the manuscript as a genuine technique, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, so we changed it to be a kick in the stomach and not a kick in the area, because apparently if I do that, if I do that to poor Richard every day, I'll lose a dear friend. So yeah, that's another compromise one always has to make with stage combat. Is these techniques are designed to injure, hurt, maim, kill. We cannot do that in a stage combat because we've got to do this every day. So if I kept on maiming and killing Richard, well, we'd have to keep employing new and new staff, which would not be very convenient. So we changed some moves to make it a bit safer, and we're always trying to keep an eye out on how we can make this entertaining but not dangerous to each other. Speaking of being not dangerous, we're going to look at some grapples now. So manuscript also described not just stabbing, bludgeoning and killing, but it also described ways of disarming and throwing people to the ground. So this is one of the grapples. There we go. Right, stop it. Pack it in. I can't explain what's going on if you stop struggling. Right, so, as you can see, I've gathered his arms up by the elbows. So from here, if I was to be particularly nasty, I could snap the elbow, or if I wanted to, I could run him through. However, we did say non-lethal, didn't we? So maybe I'll use the pommel or the bottom of the blade and just crack him in the face. Or maybe it's been a bit of a misunderstanding, and I want to try and make up, so maybe a little bit of piece of makeup.
No, I think I'm first kick to the groin, thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, that's just one of the many grapples we know. However, Richard...
Yes, I did get this far in the book. Once again, there is a counter to David's grapple, which I might be able to do. Might being the key word. Yeah, ooh, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a counter and a half. And that's why we use wooden swords.
If I'm not conking David on the head with the sword, what I'm trying to do is basically, as he goes to grapple my hands, I am removing one hand so that I can bring the sword over, clear of his head, hopefully, grab hold of it and use the crossguard to drag his neck down and hopefully to the floor. That'll be very nice because I've already hit you on the head, so I won't do that.
Thank you very much. And that's another important demonstration in why wooden wasters were used not just by us as a way of practicing real techniques, but historically they were used by knights and combatants back then. Because if something goes wrong, which it often does when you're learning, you don't lose parts of your body, you just get a nasty bump or bruise. Another feature of the waster was that it was actually typically heavier than the actual steel sword. Again, a way of training up your body so you can be agile, quick and accurate with a heavy, clumsy weapon like this, and when you finally get the steel out, you're going to be much, much better with it. So, you've done the grapples. I guess it's time to play with the real deal.
So long as you're comfortable with that.
Well, we're going to have to be. So, let's get these real swords out. Okay. So we've taken you through some of the historical lessons that have helped inspire our choreography. Now what we're going to do is try and show you what we've been working on. So we're going to work through essentially 3 separate sections. We're going to go at a little bit of slow pace, make sure it all goes well. If it goes well, we might repeat it a little bit faster, and we'll just have to see. So, Richard, are we ready?
Yes, as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. See? That's my fault. Hurry up. Oh, I cut. There we go. And smash out the way. Alright. Let's run that again, see if we can do it a little bit smoother, and I'll make less mistakes.
You're almost getting a special show by this because not many people see us doing this. That's the excuse I'm sticking with it.
No. Okay. A little bit better. Let's go into the next section.
I'm sorry, looking at you. Show me the
That
best
is an
features.
interesting stance, isn't it? So all of these stances we start with have names, except that one. That one is called the unnamed
This is
stance.
called the fabulous stance.
Okay. That one again?
Yeah.
Try to do a little bit faster. Don't rush it, obviously don't anticipate, but let's see if we can get that a little bit snappier.
Yeah.
Give them something. They've been very patient.
Oh, I'm giving them everything right now.
Little. Last section. Woo! Nice. Shall I start doing your bit then?
And guinea.
Okay. Okay, that wasn't so bad. What's all was mine?
It doesn't matter.
All right.
What's wrong?
What I want to do is just work on that grapple a bit.
Yeah.
I gave you my sword.
Yeah.
I want you to take my sword.
They've been very kind to me this morning. I'm thanking you.
All right. Let's run through that last section again. If we can get a good grapple on, I'm happy.
Cool.
Yeah! Much better. Pummel, much better. Brilliant.
No, well, there we go.
So, I say we give all 3 sections one last pop,
Yep.
and no one gets stabbed,
Hopefully.
and then we can call it an end.
Yeah, we'll give you your money's worth, don't worry.
So,
I'm
don't,
assuming one person got that.
don't worry about speed, just worry about intent, and just worry about targeting. Yep, keep those 2 in mind. It can go as fast as slow as it is. Needs to be. I get that.
Enjoying it.
What?
Enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well done, Richard. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. today. I hope you found it interesting, if not entertaining. We'll be around for the rest of the day. We've got so many more shows on. In fact, we've got another combat here, fully fledged, practiced for the actual show. That'll be at 12 o'clock. That'll be me and my colleague Andrew. Then we've got Richard and Andrew shooting guns.
Yes.
That'll be in the tilt yard just across the courtyard in front of the museum. People in blue will be able to give you directions to it. And then we have armour in the night. So I'll be coming out in my suit of armour and I'll be showing you how that goes together and is put on. And then last but not least, a bit of Saxon Viking fighting at the end of the day as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your time at the museum and cheers. Bye.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.